Welcome to the People Teaching People podcast. Joining me on the podcast is Kiki Lally. Kiki is the owner and creative director of Pinnovate DIY Studio, an art school and event space for children and adults to create and connect. Pinnovate opened its doors in 2017 with the hopes of filling the existing gap in children's artistic programming in Calgary. Like many small businesses, Pinnovate faced some big challenges in 2020 and had to face multiple studio closures. But with their small but mighty team, they began virtual events and classes and even started another business called DIY Delivery. This business ships ready to go DIY crafting kits across North America and recently began a DIY subscription service for all ages. Pinnovate has been featured in the Globe and Mail, the Creative Industries International magazine, as well as countless other publications. Recently, they were recipients of the City of Calgary Access and Achievement Award, as well as the Between Friends Outstanding Contribution Award for their charitable local work throughout our city. Kiki has an amazing positive energy, which will leave you feeling like you should step outside of your comfort zone and try something new. You will listen and feel inspired to get creative. We chat about learning environments that foster creativity, building community and connection, universal design principles to improve access to creative opportunities for persons with disabilities, and so much more. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, Kiki. And to start off today with our conversation, I would love to learn more about you and your story and the journey that led you to start Pinnovate DIY Studio.
So the journey is actually quite funny. I call myself an accidental entrepreneur. On my 40th birthday, I was just about to retire as a flight attendant. I worked for WestJet for many years. But I had a paint party in my house for my 40th birthday. That's when the rage was the wine and paint nights and things like that. And I realized the gap in artistic programming for adults, for children, for creative outlets, for fun things to do with your friends. So really the journey began from that night and kind of this obsession that was in my head that I realized there was, every time I was going out with my friends, we were driving downtown and cabbing downtown. There was nothing fun and creative in our areas. So, I wasn't an artist or naturally a crafty person, but I loved those things and wanted to go somewhere to do those things. So, my business came from a customer standpoint and something that I wanted in our communities.
And you made that happen, which is
We,
amazing.
with the help of many others, but yes, we did.
Yeah.
It's been quite the journey for sure.
And these things often do take a village, but it's so fantastic that you had that idea and identifying that need for yourself and for others who are also looking for that. And now you've got this amazing business today.
Yeah, it is. It's been quite the journey. I loved looking on Pinterest and finding all those cute things people make for their homes, but especially at that time, I didn't have any of the materials or the resources or knew where to source things or how to make things. I wanted it to be as simple as possible. So I wanted to go somewhere, make something, have something beautiful in my home and call it a day and customize. I loved the custom pieces, with your family names and things like that. Because if you have a unique name, you're never going to find it on anything throughout your childhood. So yeah, it really just came again from customer standpoint and finding something that didn't exist.
Well, I definitely feel you on not being able to find things with your name on it. So I'm in that category as well.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Now, the learning environment plays such a key role in the learning experience. And with intentionality, it can be a space where people feel safe and supported to learn something new and step outside of their comfort zones
hmm
and be inspired by their surroundings. So, I'd love to hear how you and your team have created a joyful learning environment that helps people to accomplish their creative goals at Innovate.
Um, I think when you do something you love, that comes naturally and it comes easily. Um, Being able to hire incredibly talented people on our team, having people that are truly passionate about the arts, um, you know, having a livable wage that people can create a living and do what they want to do, it really plays a part into the overall environment of the studio. Um, I mean, we always say no artwork is ever done here because we're constantly looking to improve, constantly looking to figure out what we can do better and create the best programming in the city. So, truthfully, I think, Tiana, it comes from the passion behind the scenes and um, knowing what we're capable of, but also knowing that our studio is small enough still that we can do whatever we want, essentially. You know, we can think outside the box. We, being a small business, that's one of the few benefits is that, you know, you don't have, we are the deciders of what comes out. So
Yeah, and you're so right. It's so much the people within the space and all their creative energy and their ideas that takes a room and really makes it into something wonderful and amazing. So, who are some of the people that you have working as part of your team, and how did they end up finding you?
oh my goodness. Well, our team, we've been very lucky. Our team is, you know, everything we are. Um, we have a few of us that have been here pretty much since day one. We've hired newer art graduates who have grown with us through COVID and beyond. But really creative, like minded individuals. We have moms that work on our team. So we have that extra piece of the puzzle that I think a lot of businesses don't have when they're working with children, where we not just the compassionate piece, but the understanding of as a parent what you want, what programming you want for your children, and also as children, you know, being parents, we can kind of see the need for the compassion and the love that a studio like this needs to bring to keep children engaged. But yeah, we've got you know, Chrissy White. She is a photographer and then is just an insanely creative person. We have Robin Berry. She owns a maker shop, Kind Designs. She is like a creative genius and does lots of wood cutting and laser cutting. We've got, uh, like I said, Lena, Melissa, Genevieve, they all have art degrees and in fine arts. And Melissa is from the University of Toronto art program and graduated from there. So a real mishmash. We also have students who work on our team assisting with the younger programming who were part of our teen Little's Art University. So teenagers who are just passionate artists and get to have a job that pays them to work with kids doing arts and crafts. So, you know, it's been exciting to see the business grow and develop, but also just the way you can create jobs within the creative space for people that appreciate that and want to do something they love.
Yeah, they're passionate about the arts and love sharing that with other people. It sounds like you've built an incredible team at
Yeah,
Pinnovate.
we've been fortunate for sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, we've sort of alluded to this idea, but there is such a wonderful opportunity to build relationships in teaching and learning. So,
Mhm.
how does Pinnovate bring together community, creativity, and connection as part of your studio?
So the thing with arts, Tiana, it's I liken it to things like sports or music. It's such a universal language, right? It doesn't have barriers or the same, you know, the same problems and connection that other spaces might. You know, we have children here who have disabilities. We have children here who are newcomers to Canada, who all get to be in the same creative space doing the same projects and be able to have a communication, have this language of love between themselves. So you know, we're privileged enough to be in the southeast of Calgary. Our community has been very supportive of us. Mahogany, Auburn Bay, Copperfield, all these areas, Mackenzie, who heard about us from day one and always supported us. But as we've grown, we're just seeing that the community is so much bigger than the physical community, right? Like the space, it is so encompassing and inclusive of everything, and that's because it's an art space, essentially. You know, it's, yes, you foster a loving environment and try to create projects for all niches and ages and demographics and wants, but you also have the capability to do something for everybody that doesn't have barriers the same way as other things do.
Yeah, and it's so interesting how when you have sort of a project or a creative pursuit that you're doing together, how that experience in itself really facilitates those meaningful connections among people.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just the excitement of the look what I made. We always say that, like the look what I made. The minute you are proud of something you've created, you want to show it off to your partner, your friends, you want to hang it up in your house, and all those little pieces. It's a joyful experience, but even just the science of it, the endorphins it creates, the parts of your brains you use when you're being creative or painting or drawing or sculpting. It's something I feel it's kind of been lost in a generation previous. I feel like it's coming back, but there was this entire, late 90s, early 2000s where just nobody really focused on that at that point. It was very much about IT and the internet and a shift in those things. Whereas I love seeing the appreciation for the arts come back.
Yeah, no, I think it is such a great thing and such a great way for people to be creative and to connect with others. So I saw that Pinnovate has actually been formally recognized for accessibility and inclusivity, which is amazing. Um, so how has Pinnovate implemented universal design principles to improve access for people with disabilities?
Um, it's it kind of began during our COVID shutdowns, and it was really heartbreaking to see adults with disabilities at that time being so socially disconnected, even more so than most demographics. It was kind of an overlooked demographic because they may not necessarily have the capacity for online socialization. They may not have the fine motor skills to be able to do certain things that everybody is getting excited about during COVID. So we reached out to the Between Friends organization and donated a bunch of DIY kits, essentially, that were all materials and supplies included, but able to be created by a wide range of disability adults. Simpler projects that, when assembled properly and easily, could really create something amazing and something they would be proud of. Again, to build that confidence, to give them not just something to kill time, quote unquote, or an activity, but the whole combination of tying those artistic principles into reaching a demographic that I feel like it gets overlooked many a time. So it kind of began there, and then obviously we had a lot of charitable. We do a lot of charitable initiatives with the Children's Hospital, with different SMA foundations, and throughout our city. We're privileged and really fortunate to be able to give back, essentially in an artistic way, whereas there aren't a lot of studios that do what we do and have the capability to do what we do. So, um, it kind of started there, and like I said, having a team that's always thinking, if we create this, laser cut wood project, and all you have to do is, paint it splotchy, and the self adhesive will glue it onto another piece and create this gorgeous piece. Our team's always thinking of how physical disability adults or young children can really still participate and get excited about the arts. So
That's incredible. And it's so wonderful that there's that mindset amongst your team, just always looking for how could we do and make these projects accessible. So I really admire that in your business.
thank
That's
you. Thank you.
amazing.
No, it's been it's always beautiful to get recognized for those things, but it's funny because it just happens organically a lot of the time. I mean, we're surrounded by people from different backgrounds and different niches and different disability groups and different challenges in life, and to be able to be in a situation as a business to give back, we're fortunate.
Well, that is amazing. And I, again, really admire that that's such an important piece of what Pinnovate does.
For sure. Thank you.
So I was wondering, for yourself personally, what are some of your favorite ways to be creative, and what have you learned through your own creative experiences?
Oh goodness. Well, I'm creative, but I'm not a crafter or an artist by any means. I don't hide it. I am I am a great tester for projects here, because if I can mess them up, anyone can mess them up. I don't like instructions. I'm creative in weird ways. I love cooking and a good dinner party and having I'm more that stream of creativity. I like thinking about, I'm making my kids a little advent calendar, things like that. I wish I was a home decorator or I could sketch beautifully. I have such an appreciation for people who can sketch and oil paint. But creativity wise, that's really, I am, I like plating good food. Like creativity is so much bigger than an art studio, but it's funny because that's how I get out my creativity is by, you know, making things pretty, basically.
Well, I have such a huge admiration for people who are crafty and creative and
Oh,
artistic
so do I.
in
So do
all
I.
the ways. And
Yep,
yeah,
I absolutely
yeah.
do. And the thing about the crafty part, this is the one thing which is when we opened our business is literally anybody can be crafty and can put anything together. You just need to have the right instruction, the right materials. The rest of it's simple. It's always simple. And it looks so beautifully elaborate. Whereas, some of the arts take more practice. And even they are very achievable as long as you put in the work, right? But yeah, I wish I was definitely more artistic.
Well, and I think for myself, I just am probably my own worst enemy. I think I probably just overthink it, right? And because I don't feel confident in my abilities, you kind of look around at what others are doing and you think, huh, yeah, it's just not
But
part of my DNA.
it's so true, and it's so
Yeah.
unfortunate because at some point in our teenagehood we make these decisions and frame this story as to who we are. So either we're sporty or we're artistic or we're homebodies, or we kind of build our own little boxes. And the thing with the arts and creativity is, they say anyone can do it. It really is fact. You take a class, you can learn absolutely anything. You can learn to sculpt clay, you can learn to oil paint. It is all learning. It is not, even if you're not artistic, creatively artistic in your mind, you don't know what to paint. I liken it to cooking. Anyone can follow a recipe and make a meal. Now, whether you enjoy it's a different thing. Whether you're someone who can go in and just grab a bunch of ingredients and cook, those are all different levels. But people that think like, oh, I'm not artistic, I can't do it. I'm like, no, actually, anybody can do this, right? So
Well, and in you saying that, I can see how the amazing work that's happening at Pinnovate, in part helps people with their self-confidence, perhaps with creativity and perhaps believing in their abilities more and what's possible.
oh, it's so true because with children they are such you see it change through ages, but young kids, they'll try anything. They'll be proud of what they made. Then you get to a little bit of an older age group and you see a little more, they're a little more self-critical. Then you get to the teenagers who we do art classes for, and you'll see a few of them just picking themselves apart. And it's so heartbreaking because you're like, this is incredible work and you're doing this to yourself. And then there's adults that are the worst because adults think that they can't do anything, and that's what makes it so gratifying and amazing when you have something as simple as a porch sign workshop and somebody comes in and literally it is painting, it is vinyl, it is peeling vinyl. You can't mess it up. You can't mess up making a doormat. You can't mess up making a porch sign. And to see their confidence boost the minute they make something out of their realm, it's amazing. It's incredible to watch it and to watch the evolution, especially in adults, because we're the worst. We're our own worst enemies a lot of the time.
Yes, yes, we are.
Yeah, too
Yeah,
much knowledge.
oh my goodness. I actually took adult skating lessons, and there were a
I
couple
did
times.
too.
Did you?
I
Yeah.
did. Yep.
And my kids came and watched a couple of my lessons, and I thought to myself, the number of times that I've watched them do their lessons and the vulnerability and kind of nervousness that they would experience going out for the first time, it was all me. Like that was exactly how I felt, and
100%.
I remember coming off the ice and one of my kids was like, "Great job, mom." And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh." Yeah, it's you get nervous, you feel uncomfortable, but there is something about kind of stepping into that discomfort and doing something. And it was kind of fun to have the roles reversed in my kids giving me the pat
Absolutely.
on the
I
back.
started, oh, totally. My kids, same thing. They all skate better than me. They ski better than me. They do all these things. And that was one of the benefits of COVID, is that I got out of my comfort zone. And I was like, I always wanted to skate with my kids. My kids are teenagers now and I can't skate with them. And I just, and I thought, it's a skill. You go and you keep trying and eventually you get better at it. That's how it works. And it's the same thing with, especially like artistic mediums, like learning to oil paint, learning to sketch, learning, you come week after week and guess what? You get better at it. Whereas crafting is actually quite funny because anyone can craft. Like anybody can craft. You can make anything. It's not, there might be some fine details in how a project turns out, but what I love specifically about crafting is that a project always turns out.
Yes. And then you have something beautiful at the end to share and
Some,
show and display.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
totally.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic. So, learning obviously is inevitable, especially as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, what have been some of the biggest challenges or a big challenge in your business as you continue to grow? And what have you learned from this or these experiences?
Um, every day is learning. I think as long as you are open to learning, you will learn. Being self-reflective, admitting what you suck at, uh, picking up from failures essentially and using them as fuel to learn. We've made a lot of mistakes in this business, especially, we opened in 2017. It was a recession. We went through 2 years of shutdowns, being an event space. And the growth through that and changing our business. We opened with the mindset that we were going to be essentially a creative bar. That was the whole plan. We have a liquor license. And 5 years later, we are a children's event space. We have some of the best art classes in the city. We have children's birthday parties and camps. That is our focus. That is what we are passionate about. That's what we love. But being open to changing our minds and kind of going, okay, this is what we like, this is what we're good at, and this is what we're going to focus on. um, learning from those mistakes, and moving forward is basically the learning is picking up from and taking all your lessons, really.
Yeah, and there are definitely so many lessons along the way, and that's such a great mindset to have because yes, there are so many ups and downs on this entrepreneur journey. Yeah.
There absolutely are, and there's so much to know, and you will never know it all, but trying to know as much as you can and fixing where you screw up is basically what it came down to for us. Obviously we pivoted our business. We opened our DIY delivery business on the side. We did a lot of different things during the last few years, but to get to a point where we've honed it in and we know what we love, we know what we're passionate about, we have a team that is on the same page. It's a great place to be, for sure.
That's so nice to hear. That's so great. And I love your openness to learning. So that curiosity, I'm sure, just carries you through and getting that clarity and getting that understanding and having that growth.
Yeah, and surrounding yourself with people that are better than you at so many things. Like being transparent about what you're good at and what you're not good at. Because there's somebody else who's way better at parts of your job than you will ever be, right? Whether it's painting, whether it's facilitation, whether it's organization, doesn't matter what it is, but finding, like I said, being self-reflective and finding your gaps and filling those with stronger people around you is, I think, has been key to the entire business.
Yeah, it takes a village. It takes a
Absolutely.
village.
100%. 100%.
Yes. So I would love to know who is a favorite teacher or a favorite learning experience that you have had, and why does that person or experience stand out for you?
Oh, wow. A favorite teacher or experience. Let me think about that one. I would say I'm learning every day. I'm surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurs. I always find nuggets in the most random conversations or in the most random places. Um, I think it's interesting where you learn from. We have Taylor Odinsky. She's a local artist in the city, Tay Tay Ski. She's done work for Amazon and Comic-Con, and she's incredible. Totally self-taught artist. But she does teach our teen art program 1 or 2 months a year. We have resident artists come into our studio who we work with to create the program for our teens so that they see that you can have a life in the arts and they learn different mediums. So when she first started teaching with us a couple of years ago, she is one of the best step-by-step painting instructors out there, but she has incredible energy. She brings something to the table that we took from the table because she's very free flowing, but is so methodical in her teaching that we have used a lot of her ideas and implemented the style in our facilitation, because we were noticing that when you learn from her, everyone's piece turns out absolutely perfect. Any age, doesn't matter. She's probably the best step-by-step teacher in the city. So, I mean, just again, just being open to looking around and going, wow, that person is doing it better than we're doing it. And why is that person doing it better than we're doing it? And how do we get to that level where I'm looking at her and thinking, she's really good. So what can we do to work together, to collaborate, to get us all a little bit better, So, yeah, so many people. I mean, when you say a single learning experience, holy moly, it's been 5 years of learning, really.
Yeah, so much learning along the way, but she sounds amazing. And you're so right. It's looking to those people and sort of tapping into what they have or asking them those questions or soaking it
Yeah.
all in.
Well, because the
Yeah.
thing with the arts is there's a lot of amazing artists out there, but how do you teach art? How do you teach someone else what you do at that level, and to build their confidence and create a fun environment? She does adult classes with us as well, like, and 6 and 8 week classes. And to watch those adults leave our programming and go, that's where I want to be. And being so proud of the pieces they're making. It's everything. It's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so incredible. Now, this is a big question,
Uh-oh.
but if you were to look back at your journey so far, what would be something that you are the most proud of?
I would probably say getting through the last couple of years. I think that's probably the most cliche answer you're hearing these days, but it was a challenge. We haven't had any government assistance all year, and we're still standing and still, swimming upstream essentially through the times. Getting through the last couple of years it was challenging. Flat out, we worked long hours. We pivoted our entire business to make it sustainable in any way. We were very supported by our community. But flat out, yeah, proud of the team and proud of us kind of lasting through to this point. And facing other challenges now, right? Like, that's what it is. We're still at the, everyone thinks COVID's over, but you're still going through business challenges. We're seeing a lot of small businesses close now. We had one of our neighbors shut down this week. So it's just, it's heartbreaking to watch that happen, and to be in a position where we're like, okay, we're still here, and we're still supported, and we're still moving. And, I think as a team, definitely that would be our biggest, our proudest accomplishment right now.
That is a big one. A big one.
And we were in the Globe and Mail, so that was kind of cool.
Okay, so now you have to tell me about that before we go.
No, that was very cool. I was, we were across Canada, and my family from Maritimes were calling us and going, you're in the Globe and Mail? I was like, I know, I'm in the Globe and Mail. It's crazy. That was pretty cool too. I'm not gonna lie.
So can you tell me about the article?
It was actually about pivoting your business during COVID. Someone in Toronto had ordered a DIY delivery kit and sent it to someone who had sent it to a producer or an editor, and a writer called us and said, we're doing an article on small businesses that have had to change their entire business. And that is essentially what we did during COVID. And they interviewed us and talked about creating an online business and creating a different website and just starting from scratch to keep one business afloat.
Well, that's incredible. What
an
opportunity.
Cool.
Yeah, that's so neat.
Yeah, I thought it was a prank call. I'm not going to lie.
Those do come through from time to time.
They do.
Yeah, but that one was for real. That's amazing. Amazing. Yeah. I have some rapid fire questions for you.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Okay. What is something that you would love to learn about, or something you would love to learn to do?
Oh, so many things. I started golfing. I would love to be a better golfer. Simple things like that. I would love to. Oh, geez. I would love to learn interior design. I would love to become more tech savvy. I could. The list could go on. It's a rapid fire, but yeah, there's too many things to start with.
I feel like you might be a lifelong learner.
Yeah, I'd love to write a book, but I'd have to become a good writer.
Aw,
Yeah,
there's great editors. If you've got great ideas, there's people that can help you for sure.
that's what I
Oh,
need.
I
I need
love
someone
your
to do the
list.
work for me.
I love your list. So, as well, what is a place that is at the top of your travel bucket list?
Oh, it's probably South America. My husband wants to go. We plan to go a couple times. Keeps falling through.
Anywhere in particular?
He wants to go to Peru. I want to go to Brazil. So all over,
You could
but
do both.
yeah, Rio. I want to go to
Yeah.
Rio.
What is a book, podcast, movie, or TV show that you have enjoyed recently?
I have been watching such garbage television lately. I'm not one to do it, but I've been watching trash. Podcasts. I love Smartless. It makes me laugh and brings me joy. I like Diaries of CEO. I like Yours. I like if it's local. Yours is great. I like Sarah Sociables. She has a good podcast just for things happening in the city. Um, and then TV. Oh God, I watched Love Is Blind lately. God, what waste of time that was. Just yeah, I've been
I
watching
watched it
garbage.
too. It's
I
best.
can't. I don't want to watch it. I want to not watch it. I
I
don't
know.
want to watch it. And then I just binge it and I fast forward half of it just to get to the punchline. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
watch a lot of
What's gonna
sports.
happen?
Yeah. I
Okay.
watch
Do you have
sports. I watch a lot of football and stuff. So
Yeah, it's good. It's okay to watch trash TV. I find
no,
sometimes I
it's
just
not. It's
need to
such a
like,
waste of
no,
life.
it is
Oh God.
such
I
a
never
waste of
feel
life.
good. I never come out of that feeling good.
This is me trying to justify it even for myself,
No,
but I
don't
know what you're
justify it,
saying.
Tiana.
I
Don't
know.
just it's terrible. I've actually we've started watching older really good movies because my kids are
Yeah,
teenagers now.
yeah.
I've been pulling out, probably inappropriate for their age because they are. But my kids watched, Bend It Like Beckham and Something About Mary and like pulling out like the old comedies. I've been doing that lately with our kids.
We've been doing the same thing. We actually have a running list of movies that we've loved over the years that our kids, that's our family movie nights. So some of
Yeah.
them I opt out of because they're not so much my jam, and like Predator and stuff, that's kind of more the boys' night. But
Totally, totally.
yeah,
The Terminator movies.
Terminator,
Yeah, it's so
yeah, yeah,
funny.
so fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah, the
really
old
fun.
schools. Yeah, it
Old
is.
school.
It's really awesome to watch them watch what we watched, in and be excited about it, and then they kind of look at it like some of it's appreciated and other parts are really lame. So
Yeah,
and my kids are at an age where they're starting to appreciate inappropriate humor, which I very much appreciate. So, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's a good time.
it's that next stage, right?
Mhm. Totally.
It is a lot of fun. So, my last question of the rapid fire, the sort of rapid fire set
It's
is if
not
you
rapid. It's not rapid. No,
that's
I don't
okay.
do anything rapid. Go ahead.
That's no problem. It often doesn't work out that way. I need to change the name of this category of questions.
Medium fire. Medium fire.
Medium fire. If you
Slow burn. Yeah.
See, you've inspired a change or a shift. I'm going to sit down
There you
and
go.
brainstorm after this.
It's so
Um,
bad.
if you could sit down and have a conversation with someone that you would love to learn from, who would it be and why?
Oh goodness. Some kind of entrepreneur, probably like an Oprah, somebody who came from nothing, built an empire, and has purpose. Really, it's the triple threat. It's a combination of that. You work your tail off. You made a difference, and now you are enjoying your life. So
She would be a great person to talk to for
yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Now, education truly plays such an important and integral role in all facets of our lives, how we work and live and play and explore. Do you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom for our listeners about anything that might empower or support them in their own teaching and learning journeys?
Um, I would say just that kind of cliche. Don't let yourself hold yourself back. Um, I think, like I said, we're our own worst enemies, and we think we can't do things that we're capable of. And you know, you don't realize, when you get to a certain age, I'm 46, and you don't realize that you still have half your life ahead of you to do whatever you want to do. You could, I could become a pro golfer. I could learn to ski and skate. And I think as adults we hold ourselves back at a certain point and at a certain age. So kind of delving into our childhood self and knowing that the sky's still the limit. We limit ourselves. So that would be, if I had any advice, that would be it. It's not to limit yourself.
That's such a nice way to wrap up our conversation today. Kiki, thank you so much for sharing your time and your story and your words of wisdom. If our listeners want to learn more about you and what you're up to, where are the best places to find you?
You can find us at pinnovate.ca. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're also at DIY Delivery on Instagram and Facebook. Our websites are all active. We have our subscription box monthly going out through DIY Delivery. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Adult programs, everything's going on right now.
Amazing. I'll make sure to share all that in the show notes. And then I guess, too, the one other question before I let you go is what might be some upcoming events and things to keep an eye out for in January?
In January, we have our Little's Art University continuing. That runs all the way through to June, ends with a year-end gala. We have 4 different programs for ages 4 all the way to 16. And then we have adult programs. We have an adult watercolor class starting. Taylor Odinsky's here for 6 weeks as well, teaching mixed media. We have an oil painting class. So lots of fun events, our camps, our classes. I mean, there's programming running all the time into the new year, all our PD day stuff. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all those exciting things coming up. And thank you again for joining me, Kiki. It was so lovely to connect with you and to learn from you.
Oh, thank you so much, Tiana. Thanks for having me and taking the time and creating this space for, so many entrepreneurs and other people to come on and share their stories. It's wonderful.